Hey, do you have a 401k? We say 401k, I mean, maybe it's another retirement at work, but we think of it as a 401k. It's the money that you've been putting into a retirement account at work. Maybe you got a match, you got some options. You've been putting money into this for maybe 5 years. Hopefully, you've been doing it 20 or 30 years. Now you've got this nest egg, you're looking to retire. How do you pull the money out? It's interesting. You would think it's simple. I deal with it every single day, but it's one of the most common questions I get. Now I've got it. What do I do with it? And how do I pull the money out? It's not as simple as you might think, but I'm here to help. Okay, so this conversation is a little complicated, but it doesn't have to be as long as you know what you're doing moving forward. So let's start with age. What age are you when you retire? That is a critical part of the process of pulling money out of the retirement accounts. The reason it's critical is the government will penalize you for early withdrawals from retirement accounts, things like 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, any money that you've set aside that you haven't paid tax on yet. If you want to take distributions to pay for your income in retirement, chances are you'll get penalized, and the penalty is pretty high. It's 10%. Now, there are ways around that. That's a different video that I've already done, and we could point you to it if you want to know. But let's just assume that you're going to retire, and let's start with retiring prior to the age of 59 and a half. How do you get the money out of the account? Well, starts off with you don't, without getting a penalty. So what are your other sources of potential income moving forward? Do you have something outside of an IRA or a 401k account? Do you have savings? Because if you do, we can pull money out of those accounts to get you the income that you need before we get to a place where you can actually take distributions from those retirement accounts, things like 401ks. Let's say you're over 59 and a half, let's just call it 60, retired, 60 plus. Now you want to take money out of the retirement plan, again, a 401k, and turn that into an income stream for yourself. Well, I realize why it's complicated for people, at least in their mind, because they've been putting money into an account for years and years and years. And now they're trying to figure out how to pull the money out, and they've literally never done it before. So it starts with they haven't done it. How do you create that connection between your retirement account and your bank account to get the money over there? But what about things like taxes? What about things like, well, how do I convert positions that I hold in my retirement account at work into cash so that that cash can then be sent to me and then they can withhold tax or whatever? So that's a part of the process. So essentially what happens is you would create a link between your retirement account, whether it's a retirement account at work or somewhere else, and your bank account. And then you're going to make an election on how much per month you want to take out, or maybe per quarter, or maybe per year. And then do you want to withhold tax or not? So what a true fiduciary should be able to do for you, in addition to providing advice, in addition to working for you and not providing or not trying to promote products, but just sitting down and saying, hey, listen, as a fiduciary, I am legally and ethically bound to provide you with information that benefits you before it benefits me. In that conversation, they should be able to show you how to convert retirement accounts into income, but not just convert it into income, make sure that income is going to last for the rest of your life without trying to sell you a product like an annuity or something else. It's called active management, or within that retirement account, having positions that provide income, having positions that provide growth, and providing stability in that. So as you move forward, the way that you do that is you say, okay, I'm going to find a way, I'm going to convert this asset to income. I want to find a way to make sure that it's actively managed. I want to find a way so that I have growth to offset inflation. I want to find a way so that I have income so that I can get paid every month and maintain my standard of living in retirement. And then I want to make sure that taxes and inflation are covered. So there's a rule, and it's been applied to, it's sort of oversimplified. So you may have heard of it, maybe you haven't. It's called the 4% rule. And so essentially the 4% rule is and was this idea that if you took a look at your expenses in retirement and you figured out how to cover those expenses. So take a look at other sources of income. So maybe things like Social Security, maybe a pension, maybe you have income from real estate or farm properties, something like that. I mean, I talk to people all over the country. They have income from multiple places. You took a look at your expenses. You took a look at your income outside of your investment income. And then you went to your portfolio and you said to yourself, all right, I need to bridge the gap. So let's just say that the gap you had to bridge to maintain your standard of living was $50,000 a year. And you had to find a way to pull that out of your portfolio. The rule of 4% says, I need to have set aside enough money for retirement so that 4% of that amount is equal to $50,000 a year. So we can do the math, and it was an easy way for people to do math and just say, okay, 4%. Now, the issue that I have with the 4% rule is it's based on this idea of modern portfolio theory, which frankly isn't that modern anymore. And the idea behind modern portfolio theory was to have diversified portfolios, which we agree with, but it was to have a diversified portfolio that you hang in there on. So diversification would mean, well, you have a certain percentage in stocks and a certain percentage in bonds, and you're supposed to be balanced. And so when the stock market's doing very, very well, your stocks are doing well, and your bonds are maybe doing okay. But if the stock market's doing very, very poorly, your stocks are supposed to sort of balance that out. So it's never too good, it's never too bad, it's just kind of balanced. And if you pull 4% per year off of that, and we pick a life expectancy, so call it 95, then if you pulled 4% out of your portfolio every year, whether that was gains in the account, or whether it was principal in the account, or whether it was a combination of gains and principal in the account, in theory, you wouldn't run out of money as long as it wasn't more than 4%. That's interesting, but times have changed. People invest in different things. We have a very, very new economy. All of this came out prior to all of the technology that we have today. All of this came out in the idea of the 4% rule. Nobody even knew what crypto was. Nobody knew what Bitcoin was. People didn't trade their accounts online. They didn't have algorithms that just ran everything day after day after day. So things have changed. So the idea of the 4% rule is interesting, but I think the idea of having an actively managed portfolio where you can sit down with an individual and just explain to them your situation, show them what your investment options are, show them what your expenses are, show them what your income options are, and take a look at plans that take into consideration all of your investment options instead of just hanging in there and settling for the 4% rule. You'll be more successful in retirement. So when it comes to withdrawals from retirement accounts, whether it's a 401k or any other retirement account, make sure that you plan those withdrawals carefully, and you can plan them with Talon Wealth. Thank you for watching. Go to guardingyournestegg.com for your free and objective personal financial plan.